Our project is called Schoolbox. It's a website to use better grading systems so that students have more self-esteem and motivation. Our goals are to create a better grading system and to increase educational success and attendance, as well as increase life of school.
So our product will take aspects from things and will let teachers post homework and assignments and stuff. It'll grade students with letters, so they will be classified as a student. Students and teachers will have on accounts and parents will be able to access it. And it will cost $85 per teacher.
We'll be taking it from Class Dojo, Google Classroom, and 3D Game Lab we're taking the best parts from their stuff. And it'll allow you to read what you have to do and comment to other people's posts and have a conversation if you're not there.
So first thing we're taking from is 3D Game Lab, and what this will allow us to do is create a reward-based system, making it so you increase in rank instead of getting an average grade. And you'll also get badges for different assignments you complete.
Another thing we're taking it from is Class Dojo, and the main part from that is the customizable avatar, so students will feel more connected to their grade, and it'll, yes.
And what we're taking from Classroom, we're taking like how you can see like what the teacher is posting, what you have to do. So like you don't have to be confused what you missed that day if you weren't there.
The grading system will be, instead of an average, you complete assignments to get points, and that will go into a total. When you get a certain amount of points, you increase in rank, and you receive badges and unlock different things to make your avatar better. And the benefit will be more motivation, which causes more educational success.
So this is a chart showing what we have incorporated into our program, and it takes those aspects from those programs.
How we're going to market it, we're going to have online classes so teachers can learn how to use it. And we'll be using Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to post stuff about it.
Some of the pros and cons are more interested in school and actually understanding what material it is, and you feel more rewarded so that you can upgrade your characters and stuff. And some cons are that teachers in schools might not actually want to use this program, and it'll cost money.
So our cost, it's going to cost about $2,000 to have a server to store the data. And we would have to hire a website designer and program creator, which would probably cost around $25,000 to $30,000.
Awesome. Good job.
Do you have questions?
Do you have a programmer and designer in mind to develop your system?
We don't.
So, what do schools currently use, like, for this purpose, like manage grades and stuff, and how much do their solutions cost?
Schools it depends on what they choose. There are multiple types of grading systems. This would bring together multiple ideas, allowing more motivation and education.
Okay, and so what do some of those solutions cost, like per teacher right now?
We aren't sure. Some of them are free, but others, like 3D Game Lab, cost over $100 per year.
Do you have a management and mentorship team in Ogden that may be able to help you with being able to roll this out, that's outside of the entrepreneurial program, that can help you with your launch and everything else?
Well, we have not found one yet.
Can you identify
and just explain in a couple sentences what the problem is with the way grading is currently conducted? Again, the connection between that and poor self-esteem and what, how that creates a problem that you're solving?
Yeah, students, when they find that they have bad grades, they will be less motivated to increase them because they are deemed a certain letter. This would look like a board system, so instead of getting bad grades, you get more points, which allows you to do things in the system which will make you more motivated.
So does it eventually translate into a letter grade?
Yes.
Oh, I got it.
Okay,
So
so
at
it's,
the end of the term, it would be like, if you have this rank, then you get this grade.
okay, so my grade, rather than a not sink or swim test, I can continue to put in, and it's related more to the amount of effort I put in, my ultimate grade, by continuing to do this. Okay,
So you make goals of ranks to get to instead of trying to maintain a certain.
and so if I'm a teacher and I like your idea, but I gotta go to the principal, and am I gonna encounter any resistance as far as, well, you can't just let these kids determine their own grades, we do tests? I mean, the bureaucracy, do you anticipate any problems with the bureaucracy pushing back against this?
There might be some resistance, but I don't think most of it. Because it'd be pretty similar. You do the same assignments, it's just different grading.
Okay. I just have the opportunity to do more assignments to do my grade. It's kind of like extra credit stuff, as much as I want.
Have you tested this with any teachers and gotten feedback from them?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I've got another question. I don't want to take all the time, but you're young guys, and this looks like a lot of money to come up with without any kind of a prototype. What's to stop you from learning coding and website design and building a lot of this yourself from the ground up?
Nothing really. We actually could do that. Yes.
That's good, yeah. I have another question. Maybe, excuse me, one of the things that sponsors and grants, have you maybe looked into that stuff? I think that might be a good option, especially with the startup costs. Right? Have you done any research on things like that, programs that are available?
No, not yet.
I think that might be a great way, especially if they can get behind the system. Right? I kind of like what he was saying, if you can kind of create that need and say, like, this is the problem, this is the solution, right? And be able to kind of pitch it that way, just like you're doing. I think that sounds like a really cool opportunity.
Your teachers and those that are running the program can probably help with introductions to GoEd. The STEM Action Center, in particular Tammy Getz, may be able to tie you into some resources that can assist you with going forward with this as you move on. And that's basically free money and free resources. And I'd highly recommend talking to your advisors and maybe reaching out to the STEM Action Center.
Will you say that name one more time?
Tammy Getz, Goetz. She's the executive director of the STEM Action Center at GoEd.
I have another question, real quick. What do you guys see? I mean, you kind of talked about some of the difficulties you're having. What do you see as like the biggest like roadblock for like making this happen?
I think the startup cost getting a server would be the hardest part.
Good. And so, what do you think we as a community can do to help you? Is there anything that we can do as a community to help?
I have one thought for next step there might be to break down, this is a huge chunk of funding, right? And I think there's some great resources already shared, but break down what are your next milestones to answer some of these great questions that have been asked that may be focused for teachers, coding classes.
It's
for
on
you
my
guys,
Facebook,
design
on my
classes for you
personal
guys,
Facebook.
to kind of break down what those milestones might be.
I
and
don't
then
think
apply
he's,
for funding for those
you can,
programs.
I'm not friends with him there.
Um,
Yeah.
Another option is the University of Utah wants to launch a high school Utah entrepreneur challenge. So everybody who is in high school and has an entrepreneurial idea can apply there online, but hurry up because the due date is coming up, I think. So hurry up on that.
It's tomorrow. They're gonna take your ideas and tweak it and improve it and submit tomorrow.
$20,000 on the table there, or $20,000. So that's
Any other questions?
Great idea.
Alright, thank you so much.
I think they need to pivot it because they have the wrong audience. They need to do it for underperforming students and sell it to their parents.
Please, there's a ton of donuts. I see people without donuts, so might just send the box around. All that. That's a better way to do it. But please feel free to come up and grab some.
But are they grown-ups?
Lots of stuff. Lots of sharing. White one? Is that your sugar on it?
Kyle, you want to put the other
Any more chairs? I can pull it.
All right, can I take a minute and give you a little perspective on what our class has been doing? So this is a 2-week sociology class. And he's a sociology teacher and I'm a math teacher who loves entrepreneurship. And so we combined the two of those. And so we spent all of last week looking at social issues. What are some of the problems that make it so that people are unhappy and people are not successful and things that are going wrong? We went to the jail, we went to the prison, or we went to court and found out what are some of the problems in the juvenile justice system. And then we looked at the problems in our school. What are some things that are not working in our school? What are some things? And then they got some Arbinger training from leadership and self-deception. And then we did some crucial conversations training. And so we just done a lot of training to understand and so their ideas are built on coming from that. But they only started Friday. Friday afternoon, and we got done with our Arbinger training, and we looked at the problems and started. So that's where they're at. Is that they have some things, but those who sit and talk with them individually probably get a little bit more from them. But that's where they're at. So
these ideas are in their very, very early stages. So as you can see, they've been working hard over the last 2 days to bring these along.
Yep. All right, ladies. And do you know how to advance? Just use the arrow to that arrow on the right.
So hello, my name is Sadie Lewis. I'm and I'm Tiffany Sullivan. We had another partner, her name is Nancy Martin, but she couldn't be here today. But she is a lovely artist of our logo. So yeah. Okay, so our idea for this project was a camp called La Familia, sorry. And now I'll turn the time over to Tiffany to tell you our inspiration.
Okay, so as Ms. Jones said, we went to the Weber County jail and the juvenile courthouse in Ogden. And one of the problems we saw was like the miscommunication of the parents or the family, and they weren't really getting along. So that's how we made our solution. Okay. So yeah, we wanted to do like a camp from April 1st to October 31st where families can come and do like teamwork activities so they can just, I don't know, find solutions to stressful situations and just working together. So we'll have like 7 or 8 cabins, and we want to do like crafts for the kids and like a ropes course, which will have like easier things to do and harder things to do. And then we also want to do like a lake, so you can like rent like canoes and stuff, like $5 for a canoe for the day and $2 for like an hour. So yeah.
So our focus is, we are focusing on strengthening the family and working to solve bullying that happens at home, school, and work. We researched our topic a lot to find more things about it, and we found that lack of compassion in the home, kids tend to, if they have lack of compassion in the home, they tend to not know people's feelings as well, so that can go wrong. Lack of supervision, kids with parents who aren't always there, the kids may not learn right from wrong. And then monkey see, monkey do. That's like one of my favorite sayings, because kids, with what they see, they will do. So if they see a family member or a role model of theirs bullying somebody, they will most likely bully themselves.
Okay, so our goal is to help rebuild relationships with families that can fall apart because of bullying in family or drugs and alcohol. And we saw a lot of that in court. Just families couldn't stay together because of addictions and bullying. And they were having a lot of problems go on. So our goal in this camp is to help families learn to work together rather than against each other. And we found a quote from our website about bullying. It says, children with positive relationships with their parents are less likely to be bullied. Okay, so how we're unique? We researched a lot of other camps, summer camps for families, and it focused a lot on, activities and the kids and just having fun. But what we want to focus on is kind of helping the family learn how to work together, and we're going to have counselors there, and we are looking into having animal therapy, which works very well because people connect with animals really well. We're also trying to help these families come out of addictions and stop bullying, and we're focusing on helping them work together rather than just having fun and being sort of a village.
So for our marketing, we were thinking about making a website with all of our details of the camp on it, and then having a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat accounts where we can post pictures of the camp and all the families working together. And we'll also have flyers and posters up and everything.
Okay, so for finance, we know that this camp is going to cost a lot with the ropes course, which will have to make sure it's very safe and something for children to use. We'll have to make sure that the animals, if we do animal therapy, are very well trained and very safe to be around. We have to have the cabins, have running water and electricity, and we have to have a lot of money for our startup costs. So we are planning to make it easier, renting out places with cabins and a lake, so that it would be a little easier to start out, so that we don't have to start from scratch and build everything ourselves. And ways that we can earn money are through sponsors and donations, and through a flea market. So we're planning on having some people at the camp, while they're working together, make things and crafts, and we could sell them at the flea market. We're going to have a souvenir store there, so they could buy t-shirts or what I wanted to. And then we're going to have canoe rentals, so they can rent a canoe and then we're going to have a small entry fee, and we're going to keep it pretty cheap so that all families have the opportunity.
We pride ourselves on being affordable because we're focusing on families that may not have a lot of money at the very, certain things are coming from certain homes. So we're focusing on $30 per family to get in. And if medical insurance, if they have a doctor or a counselor who's recommending us, they can pay through it with their insurance thing. And then we will have lots of deals and stuff coming out. So.
Have you thought about aligning for your MVP, your minimum viable product, with existing camps that exist, like Camp Floyd and up where the elk are in Eden would be examples? instead of immediately thinking about building all this infrastructure and getting a few thousand acres, being able to align with people there to test it out. And also there are existing therapy animal organizations such as the Straighter Way and Hoofbeats for Healing down in Lehigh that may be able to do some of the testing with Missouri trotters and things like that. Again, with your instructors being able to reach out to those type of people to find out if what your idea is viable, you may be able to align with people that are working with separate components.
Very cool idea. I like how you started with the problem, and you guys actually did some, sounds like you guys did some research on that and creating a solution based on that, not just a solution and trying to find a problem for it. You talked about the facilities a lot as far as being on the lake and the cabin. Is there going to be anything in addition to that as far as like a staff, like counseling that's going to help them get through this? Because what's the difference between maybe going for a vacation on a lake with the family and what's going to incentivize them to come to your spot? Is there a mentorship? Is there a staff that's going to help them work through the problems? And talk to that a little bit?
We were looking into having counselors and we know that having professional counselors could be a lot. So maybe even having college students who are kind of looking into psychology kind of help around and have a staff. And we're looking to maybe have a security system just in case to keep everyone safe in case, something happens if a family has a fight. And, we want to try to keep our camp as safe and open and relaxing place as possible, but also having families be able to become shelters.
Good question. So a lot of times with families who are this way or facing a lot of these kind of difficulties, a lot of them might not be interested in change. Have you thought about taking this idea to the government, like the state, and maybe having, when someone gets in a certain situation, they might be more required to, because I can't imagine certain families who have low income and are having a lot of difficulty with addiction, I can't imagine them wanting to pay for it. You know what I mean?
I have thought about that actually, and I thought it was like a good idea, to go, talk about it with like different things and stuff, and maybe even like with like judges if they think that it might be a good idea for like the family to work together and stuff. They can make their handouts and like send them that way.
Yeah.
So,
Again, I agree. I thought it was great to start with the need and really think about, how can you be a part of that solution? And it's a very complex problem. So a couple questions. One is, if you're dealing with incarcerated youth, how would they kind of get released to be able to participate in your program? And then what is your more continuous care model? Are you thinking that maybe they're incarcerated for a year or 2 years or whatever length of time, how are you going to be a part of that solution as they go through their rehabilitation?
So we have thought about this a lot, and we know it's kind of a complicated thing. So we're kind of looking into security a lot, and the problem is we don't want it to feel like a prison, because we want it to feel like a place where they can know that they made mistakes, but it's okay, and they can overcome those with their family. But we also know that there might be problems with the teens and with the parents, so we want to have some type of security there to help keep everything regulated.
Yeah, one of our teachers went to Delancey Street, is that what it's called? And we liked how they had people teaching at the camp, teaching other people things. So like we were thinking about having maybe like count like people who have gone previous years to come back and maybe help other families. So I think that.
The other thing I was thinking is just how do you track your impact on these youth? What kinds of things what are your goals, and how do you quantify those so that you could report back to the court system and say, here's what we've achieved. Here's how the kids have progressed from when they came in to when they left.
So it's hard to track progression in families, but maybe looking at schools and seeing that they're getting better grades and not bullying as much or getting bullied, and helping them get, like if the family's having problems with like addictions, helping them get out of that and get jobs, and helping them. I mean, in the camp, it's going to be hard to put them in real life situations, but we're going to try to come up with challenges that can help them build up life skills and habits that they can use in the world.
Great. So have you thought about maybe year-round programming? Like instead of just doing a summer thing, but maybe having some other types of classes to maintain those relationships, things like that?
Yeah, we have. We were thinking about that, but we were also thinking about parents and working to keep money coming in through everything. And also with school with kids and stuff that need school and stuff. So yeah, we were looking at that. So we were thinking more of weeks during the month. So during spring breaks in April, or maybe even November or December, having something during Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we have talked about maybe one more. We'll follow back.
So I think this is a great idea. I think sponsors are going to be a huge help in what you guys are doing because obviously it's for the good of the community. So just a little suggestion. So I used to work at the American Lung Association. We ran something called Camp Riot, which was just a summer camp for kids. And what we did is we had sponsors pay scholarships for all the kids that would go. So rather than having to have the families come up with camp fees and entry fees and things like that, this way you guys could try to make enough money off entry fees to keep the camp running. So they could be a little higher, maybe more than $30 per family or per person. And then you could find people in the community who are willing to help with that. And then they can say in their stores, oh, we sent 30 families to this camp this year. And then it's also a good way to market to families and get them there, especially in your first year. Because you can say, you can just come and we'll provide this all-out experience for you and hopefully keep your family stronger.
That's really good idea.
One more.
So if you guys said you did a lot of research at with the juvenile justice system and the jail system, so so you realize that there's a disproportionate amount of minorities that are currently in our system. How do you guys plan on incorporating the cultural aspects and to make sure that the camps are inclusive and that they're taking into account different ways that people parent just within different cultures and looking within what is happening there as well as why is that percentage so much and what can be done there?
For the different parenting things, we're having the idea was families come in and they're all together and they can see how other families are working together as well. So they may have some good ideas with parenting and then someone else might have some, and so they'll kind of mingle their ideas. So by coming up with new ideas to parent instead of harsh punishments, maybe coming up with easier ways to punish, stuff like that. And
we haven't thought a lot about cultures, but we know that we don't want to have too many families there, just so that we can kind of work one-on-one with families, and they're not so much pressured by the families, because we want them to see that other families are improving, but we also want them to know that just because a family is improving faster and they're not, we want them to know that that's okay and that they need to work out problems their own way, and each family is unique. And so we want to kind of have more one-on-one with the families.
Have you thought about bilingual components?
Yeah, we've thought about having counselors. We mainly thought about having Spanish-speaking counselors and translators for sign language come in and help with that.
Well, thank you very much. That's great. Two quick announcements. Grab another donut, number one. Okay. And number two, I'm not sure. So we are planning on going until 10:30. So I understand normally it's from 9 to 10. So I understand a few of you may leave this. So just so we're on the same page there. Keep that in mind. Okay. So this has been awesome so far. I'm super excited. Hope everyone's enjoying this. And this is great. We are almost ready to go.
Okay, tag you guys. You're up.
old.
So we are Tag Group, Teacher Assisted Gamification. I am Christian. This is Lee. This is Chris. Our other partner, Carson, is not able to make it today. So our purpose is to help teachers get ideas to help students learn. The problem is in schools, a lot of students have troubles learning because they have lack of motivation because it's just lecturing all day. So we want to help teachers make class and learning more fun for the students. Our solution, we will give the teachers ideas and games, teachers ideas for games, and just help them make class more fun for the students.
So the way teachers can find specific ideas is by like submitting information, which is on slide 7 that you'll see, and just like put in. It'll explain it on that slide. So we'll also help the teachers by sending emails out of like newest games and top rated games. And there's going to be like places where you can rate each game and comment if you change it up so it like work better, and then you can what your rules are, and maybe it'll help us. And so the income is like, so the teachers will obviously buy the materials, and we're thinking of like an annual fee of $10, which will just kind of help us. And then the expenses that we'll have is building and maintaining a website, and we'll have to restock on materials for sell to the teachers, and just employee salaries.
We will get the new submission, Asian players, knowledge base, we can make all sorts of things like, board games, puzzle strategy, get good players, depends on subjects, can be all sorts of subjects like math and science.
The materials, the materials to make games like this first doing. We make like board games with those. Those for like problem solving. And people will use these items to make games to help their classes learn in a fun way.
I see there's great physical nature with what you're doing with the games. Do you see this eventually going into perhaps digital games as well? If and when that iteration comes in, align yourselves with the Utah Digital Entertainment Network, UDEN. There's a lot of mentors that exist within the existing gaming community, and they're very willing to give back. But this is great.
So do you see this like replacing all like lectures and things like that? Like every subject gets taught with a game, or is it something that's like maybe one subject that's
No, it's just to make it where kids won't like skip school or be bored and fall behind in school. It's just something to like motivate them and make them have fun, or not make them have fun, but like let them and allow them to have fun.
There is actually, from the university, there is a woman who is taking technology, she's commercializing technology to do this for younger grades. And she needs people, I think, if I remember correctly, she needs people to test it, she needs people to provide some feedback, and she might also need some people who are willing to maybe work as an intern to get some experience for her kind of thing. Do you know her?
I don't know, so I know multiple examples of kind of gaming for good or gaming for impact, which this falls into that category. So I would be happy to make some connections so you can see other examples of games for educational purposes. But yeah, there's no time like the present to get involved out there. They certainly need to, being a tester and a focus group is also a great way to learn more
I can give you.
Please do.
Along those same lines, there's a gentleman named Levi McPherson that lives in Utah County, who works specifically in gamification of culture and work and that type of thing. And he would probably be a good mentor as well if we can talk about that with your classes.
I have another question. So have you thought about like what those games are gonna look like? Like have you done any prototype games or like things like that, or the class design the games? Like, it looks like you're trying to have the class design their own.
Yeah, the teachers in class will design the games. A few weeks ago in my math class, we did a game. It's Escape the Room, and we had to use our math skills to solve puzzles to get a key that was locked in a box with a combination to escape.
Could you go into a little bit more detail as far as what you are providing? Because if the classroom has their own materials and they're creating their own games, what are they paying you guys to provide?
We're also going to be giving them ideas on how to motivate and make classes more fun.
So another quick question, sorry. So do you see yourselves as being like a standalone business or like more like maybe like a nonprofit thing? Like, because you're just generating revenues from the $10 fee, right? Are there any other revenue streams?
Well, they're also going to be like buying the items, and then they're going to like there's going to be a subscription for like more ideas to the website. Like anybody can post ideas of games and
As you go forward, so you don't have to buy the items, within retail, there's considered inventory staleness, which is end of life of what's on the shelf. So there might be some benefits with lighting in some certain big box stores. They can then provide you with the items that you use within the gamification, so the budget for purchasing the card items will
That was great.
Okay,
You're saying that's not the right file.
that's not the right one?
Nobody's.
Is that it?
Okay, yeah, just bring your computer up.
So our project was, we didn't make a product. We were trying to, we got told by our teachers that starting next year, schools will be getting funded by attendance of the students and who's there or not. And we wanted to solve the problem of kids being in class and on time, and teachers correctly marking down who's in class and who's late. So we found a company online that sells, and they've already started using this product they made that is a fingerprint scanner for in class. So when somebody goes into class, they can go on their phone and sign in, and they can show that they are in class uses GPS. And so the company told us what we would do is we would go to schools and train kids how to use the product and use it. And yeah, the problem is self-attendance issues and schools.
Research with within the next year.
We researched.
Yeah, the app is Easy Clock, so it uses location. So let's say I don't want to go to school, and school's out in Roy, I'm in Riverdale. I have to be physically in the building to be able to check in.
When you go on the phone and you sign into the app, it will show that you're in the room and that you're there.
And to check out,
And if a student tries to leave, like slough, it will say, the teachers get a notification saying, student is not in that room anymore.
Or building.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got into contact with Scott. I don't know what his last name is. Sorry. Who works at Bioelectronics, and we discussed with them how we could implement the Easy Clocking app and how it works. And so right now, how teachers take attendance is they sit down on the computer and they have to look around the classroom and see who's here. But with this, it would remove that so that the student would just go onto the app and like register that they're in the school. So it would save time for the teacher so that they wouldn't have to spend like 5 minutes of class taking attendance.
And while they're in session, they don't have to stop and take attendance.
And you don't have to have a smartphone to use it. You can use a flip phone for this.
They have a dial-up. Mainly, it would save time for teachers, and because within the next year, there'll be more attendance being funded by the school and teachers.
So it's way more important.
Yeah.
As I had said, the teachers wouldn't have to use it, and it'd be set up so that each school gets a company ID, and then the students get their username and their password, and then they log in and they just do their fingerprint, and it registers them. And it'll be much quicker, so that you could get more time in class instead of.
And within, when you put your thumb down, it'll take only a second to register you in, and within 90 days, they're going to have another add on to it, a eye scanner, so you can thumbprint or your eye.
They have many different systems that different schools can use.
Would you have to sign in at every class, or do you sign in when you enter the building, or how do you make sure kids aren't cutting?
You'll sign in when you enter the building.
Every class has their own different one.
Is GPS that accurate that it can tell whether you're in a particular class or just in the building?
I think it's in class. The company said it was like that.
Yeah, Jones got an email of the demo, and it was from the information on that and what he said, it was more accurate. What he was.
You can tell right where, which class it is.
Yeah, so say school's out here, Slaterville, I'm in Roy. I feel like sleeping. I'm just going to check in. Oh, never mind.
my next question. Is it possible for somebody who's really sophisticated to write an app for the phone that actually pulls a GPS that tells it that you're in school and when you're not, it's a false signal?
No.
No?
It'll be more,
I don't know, the company might have security, we just came in contact with them yesterday, so we don't have
that
that
much
lot of
detail.
information. Yeah.
Well, I love your idea because it carries very little financial risk. You're just basically out selling their product.
Yeah.
Do other states other than Utah, are they going to this system where the school is paid based on the attendance of the students?
Not that I know of.
There's actually a school, I forgot what it does, they actually have the fingerprint system for their lunch. And I can't remember what school it is.
But I think the only school that gets funded by attendance is just the state of Utah.
Just Utah right now.
Yeah.
Probably others will follow. And then you'd get a commission based on placing these units in the schools?
Yeah.
Is there any way you could track how much time you're saving teachers and then aggregate that and calculate the cost that you've saved the school district so you could get some grant funds? Might be interesting though.
We're gonna contact them a lot more and come with a more
solution.
Better, more. We'll have more information and project it presented to the school. See. Yes.
So I've got a few good questions. I'm wondering about students who don't have cell phones. If there's a way, like at the school.
The teacher can manually do it like they did before. They can just manually put it into the computer for students that don't have.
And I'm wondering if instead of that, each room would have just like a thumb scanner. So when you walk in, because you have to be physically present, right? Because there might be some issues, or maybe to figure out how do I just take my friend's phone and somehow manipulate the system somehow. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
But maybe if they have to be physically present, maybe they just like scan their thumb on a little sensor in the classroom, something like that. I'm not sure. Have you thought about the pros and cons of that?
Thing is with the fingerprint scan, you would have, so I actually have the app on my phone. It's not working, but you have your username, password, and it would recognize only your thumbprint by layers of ones and zeros. If it has another thumbprint on it, it wouldn't work.
Why wouldn't it work? Why would you, he asked you why is the mobile phone method this one you're suggesting to a school versus a device that they put in each classroom to scan thumbs, so it's not based on the phone. What was the problem with that? Remember?
It would cost a little too much because each one would be around $100. $900. Yes.
Have you considered the precedent established of the tap on and tap off that's currently used in transit with the card and an NFC chip, but instead being the fingerprint? The ability to have the tracking that's necessary by the students in place, so you wouldn't have privacy issues that are associated with the use of a phone that may not exist, could be something that could be ubiquitous, but utilize the same technology, and then have added functionality for those that have accessibility to mobile objects.
What's the issue with the card?
With the,
You would have no card, it would still be the fingerprint.
okay, we never thought of that with, when we went on their website, they do have the cards, but it didn't say the,
It would still be your original solution, but instead of the phones as the device for the biometrics for the identification of the fingerprint, it would be fingerprint readers within strategic locations on premise.
If I get out of this, I think, that could be a good solution, but, there are always trade-offs and the benefit to what they're pursuing is that there's already a company who's made the app. And this would require more effort, right, to install that system, that infrastructure.
Do you have a solution for schools who might have some kind of rule about zero cell phones during school at all times? Are you going to sell this product to someone who might have a very strict rule like that. I mean, I think it's a great idea because, especially with your school, I've realized that the more freedom you give a student, the more responsibility they feel with their own education. And if they're in charge of attendance on their own, and the teacher's not, I think that a lot of teachers might feel a little bit worried about that. But I find that students kind of live up to those expectations when you give them that responsibility. So I would, use that as a way to sell it too.
Let's go, just one more.
I think there's also a lot of opportunity for you to figure out how you could use the GPS and the tracking and the attendance and generate a lot of data, which then the school may be interested in. So the school may be interested in how you move around the building and where bottlenecks are. Is there a staircase and people can't get to class on time because everybody's in this staircase? Do people not eat their lunch because they congregate at their lockers and then they go to lunch and they don't have time, and then they complain that they have headaches or are tired in the afternoon? And so there may be a way to create add-on businesses and either sell them to the gentleman you've talked to, or build your own apps which provide those data or that data to the school, which then you can sell that product to other schools and sell it as an efficiency tool rather than just an attendance tool.
Cool. Well, awesome. Thank you very much. Awesome.
So we're Lit Science. So how we started. Our original intent was to redesign the flow for Venture because as of right now, drop off to pick up gets a little crowded with cars. So that was our original intent. Is just to redesign that whole thing. So then we got thinking. We decided, what if we could create our own signs on there to explain this is where you're supposed to go. Then we don't have to try to deal with construction and cutting concrete, all that unfun stuff. So we created Lit Sign. So what it can do, Lit Sign will be capable of changing. So instead of rather than creating a permanent sign, like a merge sign, for example, for on-ramps, rather than creating a custom sign, we created basically a LCD monitor, I guess, that will change its display. So it could be a stop sign when needed, but it could change into a yield if required at that point in time. Target competition.
Okay, so our competition is, those signs that like when you drive by, they say like how fast you're going, like those signs. Well, that's what right there. And then then the other competition is you know those signs like on the freeway that tell you if there's an accident or don't go over there or like be low speed. And then on the train, you know, you say like they say like, oh well, like your next destination is Ogden or Salt Lake.
So, basically the sign, it could apply, anyone can use it anywhere. Construction workers could use it to redirect traffic. Event coordinators, they could use it to direct, let's say, marathons or things like that. We could use it for schools for our traffic problems. We could basically use these signs for any traffic problem.
So that's us. I'm gonna add on to this just a little bit. Who did it apply to? Race events. That's I'm betting, just a best guess, that would be the place that we would focus in, because I'm a racer myself. I do duathlons, triathlons, things like that, and just about every time someone gets lost. So so it'll be able to display arrows, which way to go, just different things like that. So, question? Yeah.
I have a question. So, is it designed to be outside permanently?
No.
Like a bubble sign?
No, it's designed so you can, it's sort of like the construction signs on the freeway, things like that. They set it up on the side of the road, then they take it down when they're done. So that's its main purpose. I guess it could be permanent if you wanted it to be.
I was wondering if it needs to be like waterproof or like weatherproof or something.
Yes,
You know?
we did think through that whole process. With LCD screens, it's your phone screen, tablet, laptop, things like that. It's not water resistant. However, there are ways to make it water resistant. So, yeah.
Do you know what your costs are for producing these signs?
We do not know that yet.
And would you sell them or rent them?
I haven't actually thought of that. Probably both. I guess if you wanted to rent it, you could, but we're like little things, little races.
Because it sounds like what you're doing is temporary in nature, so it makes sense to rent it.
Yes, so I guess littler races, like example, I live in Perry, and they do a Perry 5K every day during July. Not every day, every year during July. So I guess they could rent it out, things like that. But bigger companies that do multiple races, like the Ogden Marathon, they put on more than one race. So they would probably want to buy it rather than rent. But I guess that just depends on their intent.
What's going to differentiate yourself from your competition? Like,
So-
are you going to have a different size or?
So this is our competition as of right now. They use LEDs, which is harder to read than LCD. And also it's not as clear. They also dim when direct sunlight is put onto it. LCD does dim as well, not as much. You can also adjust the brightness on LCD screens. So we could use daylight sensors, so they're dimmer at nighttime so they don't blind drivers, because they have to be so bright during the day. So, yeah.
Could you explain the difference between LED and LCD?
So LED is
light emitted diode.
It's light emitted diode.
The
It's
other one
in
is a
flashlights.
liquid crystal display.
And LCD is your phone screen. So LEDs are rather small. They do make bigger ones for signs like these. They don't have as much color scheme as LCD does. So they're not as up to date. They're not as complex.
Will you be using solar energy to power them? Or?
Yes. We will be putting, they will be solar powered, so that you do not have to hook them up to a grid system. We didn't go through that.
Yes.
Do you know how much solar power it takes to power an LCD screen of the size that you're thinking?
So, I do not know the exact amount. However, there are portable phone, solar chargers that you carry. Some people put them on their backpacks, things like that. And a phone requires, I think it's 5 watts. I'm not 100% sure on that. It may have changed by now with new technology. But as of 3 years ago, they required at least 5 watts to actually charge. Otherwise, they would stay at the same battery percentage the entire time they're plugged in. So it would most likely require 2 decently good sized solar panels. Yeah.
How long would it be able to be lit during the night?
And that is another thing we ran into as well. Since it is going to be portable, most traffic signs are 112 inches at the top of the sign to the ground. It's 112 inches in height. So there's plenty of pole space there. So we are going to stick a battery pack on the pole itself. Yes.
Well, you talked about how the sign might change at different times.
Yes.
So is there going to be some kind of application or system built in that allows you to change the sign? Do you have to do that manually? Is it like a tablet where you touch screen? How is that?
So they do actually, I think it's Logan Canyon, they have speed limit signs that change. And the state can just go in and say, okay, it's snowing pretty bad, let's make it 20 miles an hour now.
So
And they just do it
controls
remotely.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are planning on having presets in the box that the battery pack is going to be in as well. So you can just press the button if you need to, or control it remotely. So, yes.
As this could be potentially cause related, perhaps you might want to reach out to Cotopaxi as well as Gold Zero, as the ability for them to have advanced storage in the batteries, as well as a desire to participate, would be modified, and they're both Utah based.
I'm gonna go back to
So, yeah, we will look into that.
I was like, you already got that. This makes me excited when you said that.
Yes.
So to help me visualize this, like a lot of our TVs are LCD.
Yes.
So it's basically like having a TV screen as a sign. Is that am I
Yes.
correct in saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
It is going to be smaller. I believe the average speed limit sign in Utah is 2 feet wide and 30 inches tall. So it has to be able to project multiple things. Stop signs are a little bit wider than speed limit signs. So we're going to do a general size, so you don't have to get different sized screens for different things. Yeah.
Due to the dynamic nature of your display, Deseret Digital Media, which has purchased up a number of the outside advertising company signs, would be another source for you to be able to reach out to, because the ability for them to dynamically, like an Internet of Things, reach out to change anything on the display to be there. They have that figured out.
But aren't there laws about that in Salt Lake City? For instance?
There's laws for that from an advertising standpoint, but this is a different display medium. But the having to recreate the wheel of how to get the information there would have to be done, and they're relatively open to collaborating, especially with cost components.
Can I have one more?
If someone else wants to go, they can. I was just gonna say, I think the energy requirement is going to be bigger than you think. Comparing it to phones, it's going to be quite a bit more than this account.
And that's why they make signs for that.
Yes. So that is a big issue that we've actually run into. Whereas LEDs are low energy requirement, that's why they use them. These will require more energy. Kind of a downside to it.
Not impossible, but
yes.
does require. Makes sense.
Sorry, just one last question. So as far as your overall presentation goes, and it might just be me like lag in the coffee or something, but specifically, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Is it traffic flow for your school in particular? Is there a solution for traffic flow for your school, or are you looking for changing traffic communication in general?
So we're looking. We're looking at in general. We're hoping to actually use these at our school
Sure.
to help see how it will impact the community, how people will respond to it. However, we created them like this so that they can be used anywhere there's a problem. So.
Well, great, thank you very much.
Wait a minute.
Thank you so much. I thought that was incredible. Some awesome ideas from our young entrepreneurs. So thanks again for coming, those of you who came to support. Grab a donut on your way out. And then we'll take maybe a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll meet up with the mentors. So after this, all the student entrepreneurs are going to be with mentors from the community to get more specific one-on-one consultation as well. So again, thank you again. Next week, 9 o'clock, we'll see you there.
I think when people say that, it's
All great ideas.
How's it going? Is that a whole new business you're starting? Sort of. We're starting with some school. The last one with our great job. That was awesome. Super cool stuff.
Is it a jacket? You want to give them a little background?
I was expecting it to be like a giant.
Wasn't that bad? Great job. That's a super cool.
I hate presenting, so even this
What I've done
is super easy. I have like the last time I did a presentation, it was so bad that I really went to extra like 5 minutes.
I couldn't even tell. Killed it.
Like it was literally 20 seconds of no information.
I'm more working on
it
group of people that I put together.
I thought you guys did a great job. That was awesome. How long did you work on those ideas?
2 days.
2 days is all?
It only had like a couple days to do.
Holy cow, that's awesome.
And ours was just the last second.
So Friday we
Last
did
idea.
ideas of what we could do. Then Monday we picked an idea and then worked on it. And
Yeah, we
then
kind of
Tuesday we worked on it.
finalized our idea.
I thought it was like a semester long thing. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Great job. Like 30 days. Makes it even more impressive. So cool. So now we're gonna break off in just a little bit, and then you're gonna meet with other mentors too to just talk about your ideas there and development as well.
So we can see where
Oh, you just read the donuts, you just take the table.
You need to go talk to that lady. You get a card.
I'm Joel, by the way. We met. That'd be a phonetically easy way to do it. I'll make sure that I get you there. Thank you.